Hey everyone, Blades of God here from Hammer Bros Gaming, coming at you with our newest Gears 5 Master Escape video. Today we're going to be running the Choke. With me I have Mr. Beardsley and Pyrocitterwatts, and for classes today we're going to be running, Mr. Beardsley's going to be running Pilot, Pyrocitterwatts is going to be running Infiltrator, and I'm going to be running Protector. You could swap out Blade Master for the Protector class, or even Brawler for the Protector class, but I would recommend bringing the Infiltrator for the shotgun bleed damage, and the Pilot for the tactic we're going to use here is important, but it's actually kind of necessary to have the Pilot. So, looking at the modifiers for this map, we have Venom Resistant, Freezing Grenadiers, more health, Poison Flushers, more lethal, Iron Man, and add Bastions. So that means we're going to be adding Bastions to every encounter. We're going to have Grenadiers that freeze you. Enemies take less damage while they're in the Venom, but something to note is that faster Venom is not on this map, so that means that the Venom is not going to be really pushing us, which is why I'm running Protector instead of Blade Master, because we're not going to spend a lot of time in the Venom. Other than that, you get some of the usual suspects like Iron Man and those kinds of things that have been on most of our Master Escape maps, so if you've been running these maps, trying to get them all done, you should be used to those by now. So here we go, let's get into it. As you come out of the safe room, you're going to come down this couple of sets of stairs, and you can have a variety of enemies here. We end up with the Grenadier and Hunter spawn, so we end up with sniper rifles and shotguns, which is nice because you end up getting your Infiltrator a shotgun right off the bat. You can see this sniper over here was trying to hide from us, but not a big deal. Take him out. The Protector is really good at this close quarters kind of work where you only have a few enemies because of the increased melee and bleed damage from the melee. So the gimmick of this map is called the Choke, or the map is called the Choke, and the gimmick is that you're going to come to these bridges before the final exit and before the safe room that you need to hold while the bridges come up. But the map gives you the chance to go to the left and the right of that first bridge to get some weapons and ammo. We're going to come over to the right, and we're actually, I believe on this run we hit both sides. You don't have to hit both sides if you're comfortable with the weaponry you have after doing one side, but if I remember correctly, we hit both sides on this run. So, as we continue on, you see we came up the stairs to the right here. We've got some Grenadiers. Watch out for those freezing bullets. If a Grenadier shoots you, you will freeze up. Thankfully, I'm running Stim, or all three of the classes we're running have the ability to gain Stim. So, it's not a one-shot freeze, but it's pretty darn close to a one-shot freeze. So, be very careful, especially if you're closing in to try to melee execute the Grenadiers. And that brings me to the point of make sure you use your triple melee execution. If you're running a controller to play this game, you're going to push B to melee, B again, and then press and hold B a third time. What this will do is it'll melee your enemy, melee him a second time and stun him, and then on the third press and hold of B, you're going to end up executing that stunned enemy. So you can see we've advanced through this first kind of room, and we've come to the end of the right side here. We do have a Bastion that is protecting a Buzzkill Scion. It's not always going to be a Buzzkill Scion. You can end up with an Ice Scion, a Mulcher Scion. It does change, but you will always have a Bastion protecting him. So you want to prioritize that Bastion. Either have your Infiltrator get up close and get some bleed damage on him. You can see I was sitting out back with the long shot trying to do some damage and take him out. But once you take out that Bastion and the Scion, all we had was a couple of Grenadiers to clean out, and we were done with our enemies on this side. Hit your Venom Fan to give yourself some more time. You probably, the Venom is so slow in this map, you probably don't even need to hit the Venom Fan, but it doesn't hurt. So we hit the Venom Fan, we came into the safe room. There's a Torque Bow in here, which I'm going to grab, so I'm kind of running a precision setup right now with a long shot and the Torque Bow. But load up on your ammo. There's explosive ammo in here. I believe there's a few grenades in here, so everybody should be able to get some good stuff for the hold that's coming up. And once you've cleaned this room out, you're going to backtrack out of the ammo room, straight across the way, open this other door, and it's going to bring you as a shortcut back to the area where we started, the right side of the map. So you can see that Pyro's up there. He's opening that door. You're just going to run right through, and there's no enemies at this point. It's just a run. You can see that on the mini-map, the early Venom is just now creeping out of the spawn location. So we were going to come up here and activate the bridge, but Beardsley, who's running our Pilot class, said that his Silverback was not ready yet. So we ended up waiting and going to the left side of the map. And we're kind of discussing strategy right now, and when it comes to the time to actually run this, I will explain it. But Beardsley is waiting for his Silverback to be ready to deploy. You can see I've got my bubble shield ready, which will also be helpful. Invis is also ready, and I just pulled up the TACCOM, and I can see that it's only about 2/3 charged. So we're going to decide to run to the left side, take out some more enemies, get some more ammo, and give Beardsley time to charge up that Silverback, because using this strategy, you definitely want to have your Silverback ready, as it's going to draw a lot of the aggro from the enemies during the hold, and it will just make your life a lot easier. So you could have waited, you could have just hung out there until the Silverback was charged, but we didn't want to be bored, so we decided to press to the left side to get more ammo and just take out some enemies. We ended up with juvies and snipers on the left side, which is fine. Pretty easy to take out when you have a melee-centric class like the Protector. I grabbed the long shot that the snipers drop just to have a little bit of extra ammo. And once you're through that, you're going to come up this ramp that kind of doubles back on itself. And again, you're going to have another Scion with another Bastion trying to... I think we got a Mulcher Scion here. So stay back a little bit. You don't need to close in on him. You've got the high ground. You've got good cover. Let him come to you. Pyro doesn't follow that advice. He ends up blitzing down there to try to get the bleed damage going. So we had the Scion that's being supported by a few snipers. Not a big deal, especially if you get a long shot of your own. Take them out. You could see Beardsley and Pyro going to town down there, just doing work. But once the enemies are cleaned out, it's a mirror image of the right side of the map. So you're going to have a Venom Fan, which Pyro just activated. You're going to have an ammo room that you can raid for more ammo and goodies for the final hold. So get in here. There's explosive ammo and ammo crates and all sorts of good stuff. An overkill for your infiltrator if you want the infiltrator to run the overkill. And just, yeah, we take a minute here and divvy up who's going to take what. I swap out for a shock grenade because I find shock grenades to be more effective than flashes when it comes to holding the last area or the last door. So I'm going to actually carry these shocks, or at least one of these shocks, all the way to the end of the map. So once you've cleaned out this ammo room, you're going to backtrack again. You can see where our waypoint is on the map right there. And where I come back here, I grab the Mulcher from the Scion that dropped it, just because I know we're going to be facing juvies, and it's not a bad thing to have for juvies. So we open that door, we're going to double back on ourselves. This is going to drop us back down into that kind of original hallway right in front of the spawn room. And again, if you look at that mini-map with the two fans we activated, the Venom is just now, the Deadly Venom is just now creeping out of that safe room. So seriously, the Venom, it does not push you at all in this map. You can take your time. There's no need to rush. So now we're ready. We've got Beardsley, who has his Silverback. I've got the Mulcher. My bubble shield's ready. Pyro's got 2 full shotguns, and his Invis is ready. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to have our pilot, we're going to hold with regular weapons for as long as we can. Then the pilot, who misunderstood what I was telling him, Beardsley misunderstood a little bit. He's ideally going to wait until at least the juvies are dealt with to pop his Silverback. But whatever the case is, your Silverback is going to focus on your bigger enemies. So you're going to have a bunch of juvies come in, you're going to have some Grenadiers come in, and then you're going to have 2 Scions come in with bastions. Pyro is going to take care of the Grenadiers. I took out the juvies, and then everybody needs to focus on these bastions as quickly as they can to try to get them off the board. Because those Scions like to close on you. You see, I foolishly just walked right in front of Beardsley as he was shooting and took team damage. I popped my bubble shield because we were getting a little bit, it was getting a little hectic, and that bubble shield works great trying to get enemies to close in on us. Pyro managed to get one of the bastions down, but he ended up going down. And this is one of the reasons I absolutely love the Protector class, is that bubble shield, all the chaotic craziness that's going on, it gives you a safe point that you can kind of fall back to. Pyro managed to go get bleed damage on that other bastion. We got him bled down, and then I meleeed out the Scion and killed him. At this point, the bridge was up, so there were still some enemies behind us, but we said, nope, we're just going to book it for the safe room and close the door. So there you go, that's the first act. We're going to skip the safe room. There is some ammo in there, so feel free to load up on ammo or divvy it up to whoever needs it. Then you're on to the second act just like that. The second act starts with this big ramp. So you can see I'm being very cautious trying to get an angle on some enemies. I didn't know where the enemies were going to be. I was trying to snipe, and Pyro actually slid down the ramp behind me and hit me, which is why I stumbled like that. But we've got just a random bastion that's protecting a Grenadier. So do your best, take him out, take him off the board as quickly as possible. And once he's off the board, you just have some Grenadiers and some drones to clean up. Not overly challenging. Again, beware of the Grenadiers' freezing bullets, whether it's the Gnasher or the Overkill, or even a melee. Any damage from the Grenadiers is going to lead to freezing damage. So you can see right there, Pyro just got froze. Thankfully, he didn't just explode. He got downed by another enemy before the freezing damage all set in. But you just need to be very, very careful of that, because they will freeze you, and then the next shot, you're not going to go down but not out. You're just going to break apart like an enemy does when you use freeze damage on them. So you will be dead, and with Iron Man on, there is no pods or anything to rescue you in, so just be very careful about that. Like I said multiple times already, the Venom does not push you on this map, so you don't need to rush. Take your time, sit back, you've got a ton of ammo, so take your time and pick off the enemies as best you can before you advance. So now we're already at the second hold location. The bridge is right behind me. You can kind of see it on the mini-map where there's that dark streak between the two parts of the map that are exposed, and that shows that that's where the bridge is. So we need to wait. We're going to use the same strategy we used before the safe room, where Beardsley's going to use his Silverback, and we're just going to offer support. And in order to give him time to charge it up, we're actually going to go to the left first this time. We're going to come up here, and it's set up very, very similar to the area before the safe room in Act 1, where you can go to the left or the right, and you can load up on some ammo and different weapons. So we came to the left first. You can see this claw drone is really giving us some problems. And things got a little dicey here for us. We didn't expect the enemies to push like they did, but we ended up handling it. It gets a little dicey with people being down, and you can see I'm using my long shot to try to do some distance work until I can close in and get a little bit more up close and personal with my melee. Pyro decided to use his invis right here to try to go get some executions. He got Beardsley up and back into the fight, but there's not much to say about this area. It's just a straight up fight. The cover is a little weird because of the angles that the cover is facing versus where the enemies come from. So we do like to wait and have the enemies come to us, but they just sort of pushed in a weird way this time that we weren't expecting, so that's what led to our problems. So once the Scion's off the board, once these enemies are all cleaned up, you can see there's not a safe room, or an ammo room, I'm sorry, but there are 2 Venom Fans on this side, which give you an additional 45 seconds each. So that's a total of 90 seconds, minute and a half of time. There's ammo and stim all over the place, but the classes that we're running can all self-produce stim, so not that big of a deal. Load up on whatever you need for ammo, or whatever weapons are on the ground and available. If you were running a class that did the explosive bleed, instead, say you decided to run tactician or demolitions instead of your infiltrator, there are quite a few chances to get explosive weapons, so it's not a bad alternate. But we decided, since no one has explosive bleed, we left the drop shot and just ran with the weapons that we had. And now we're going to double back. You can hit the right side right now, or if you feel like you're ready, if your ultimates are ready, you can go ahead and hit the bridge. We decided to just go for the bridge at this point. We didn't do the right side of the map just because we decided we didn't need to. And you're going to have to be careful here, because you do have enemies spawn in both left, right, and center when you activate this bridge. So be aware of that. There is only 2 pathways that the enemies can come up, because you're kind of on this raised platform. So you have stairs to the left and the right. And what we like to try to do is post up 1 person on each side. You can see I'm going to try and do a little bit of work here with torque bow and long shot, but it doesn't take long for the juvies to close on you. So I set up on the left hand side here, and Pyro is supposed to be guarding the right hand side with his shotgun. Things go from okay to dangerous very quickly. You can see we've got Beardsley, who is offering some support with his weapons, just doing the best he can to get that freeze damage applied, because the pilot has a freeze card. I end up going down because, again, the flusher enemies, so your juvies, leeches, or rejects, are going to leave that poison puddle, and on master that can be quite damaging. So beware of that. When you melee down your juvies, you are going to leave pools of poison puddles behind you. And that can kind of, when you take damage like I am right now, if you happen to be standing in the poison, it will down you. So you can see we've got bastions that are coming up. That tells us that there are scions. Beardsley decides to pop his Silverback and start going to work. He gets the bastions cleared off the board fairly quickly. And unfortunately, we had a Grenadier come up on the right side, and it froze the Silverback, and then he got hit with a drop shot. So Beardsley ends up, the Silverback dies, and then Beardsley gets downed. We decided to go for the exit without realizing that Beardsley was down, and Beardsley played the martyr card. He told us to stay back and just hold the exit. It's not that bad of a hold, and ideally what you would want is to have your Silverback kind of run back here to the exit and continue to shoot down that bridge and use that as a choke point. But we mostly just have some juvies come out. I decided to deploy my bubble shield just to prevent anything from, hitting me. We do have one scion make it out, but Pyro's right there with a shotgun bleed. And that's it, guys. That is the choke on Master Difficulty. I hope you found this guide helpful. Be sure to stick around. We're going to have more guides coming out. And until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Twitch at Hammer Bros Gaming. I am Blades of God, and until next time, have a great day everyone.